right, what's happening, Power Morphicon? It's me, your resident supervillain, Mr. J. Washington. And 12 for the 12th edition of the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers season hit a peak in Dino Thunder. For me, why? It brought back a legendary Ranger in Tommy Oliver, but it also introduced a new team as each season is done, and one special member who I have with me now. He was the White Dino Ranger. You knew him as Trent Mercer, Mr. Jeffrey Parazzo. What's happening, bro?
Not much. How about you?
Man, I can't complain. Just another day in California, trying to get ready to get out in these streets whenever everything officially opens up.
I wish. It's just another day in lockdown in Toronto, Canada.
Well, I heard y'all still just locked down. It was like, I got a bunch of people in Toronto. They was like, yo, we locked down. I was like, oh.
Yeah. Still in the thick of it, I guess. I don't know. I've been watching hockey games in the States, and they're packed.
It's crazy when you realize that this country here is trying to be like, oh, things are getting better. But you look at the rest of the world, you're like, they really not. Like, unfortunately, and like stadiums being packed, that's something that for me personally, as not only just somebody who does cons, whatever, but as a stand-up comedian and an actor, I'm like, yo, it's too many people in here. Like, I went to the Improv and hung out, and I was like, it's too many people for me. I can't do this.
I don't know. I got excited. It's just nice to see people together.
I guess it's the social anxiety behind it. It's like you see, because you haven't seen so many people in a group in a long time, and then you see people together, you're like, oh, this is wild. This is wild. Yeah. So people trying to get into the normalcy of it. But yo, let me ask you, I know everybody pretty much asks you the same question. How does it feel to be a Power Ranger? That's one thing. How does it feel, the fact that you've been brought back several times in different series, that you're part of a legacy, no matter what you do? Because I was looking at your career, like you work, like you're a working actor, which is dope. But throughout your career, people, unfortunately, which is kind of a good and a bad thing, will always be like, yo, that's the White Dino Ranger. How does it feel being a part of that legacy?
Yeah, I'm honored to. I'm honored. In the start, it was one of those jobs that I just took, and I was like, okay, it's over, and let's move on to other things. Mm-hmm. But, as I got older and the years passed, I didn't realize what I was a part of. I didn't know that I was a part of anything really special, I had our producer, Doug Sloan at the time, was like, this is going to change your life. And I was like, I don't know how this could. Only after time away, you realize like how, what you're a part of and the people you touched through a kid's show.
And it's wild. It's not even a kid's show. Because again, as an adult,
you're adults,
right?
And you guys just sticks with it. It's crazy.
I've had the pleasure of I was at FanX Salt Lake Comic-Con, and so I got a chance to sit down on the grand ballroom with Jason Font, Johnny Young Bosch, Captain Southern, and Nakia Baris, and they were talking about how it's crazy, the love from all over the world, no matter what. And when you realize, like you said, how long ago it was, but yet to some people it still resonates to this day.
It's insane. It's insane. I feel really lucky, that I'm an actor, right? So I have my ebbs and flows, and there are times when it gets really slow. And then to have the fans from Power Rangers that have your back, it just, I don't know, it keeps me inspired.
That's a good thing to hear.
And keep working at it,
Because I think that's a great thing to hear. That's a great thing to hear because, again, many people forget. Like I said, myself as an actor, I understand the ebbs and flows, but many people outside of the industry have no idea about it. They think that once you're working, you're either consistently working or you're just never working. There's no in between.
Yeah, or you're just really rich.
Or you're just let me tell you something, man. Listen.
You don't get rich acting, period.
Man, listen, I'm from Chicago, and like all my friends back home, they'll see me in different little commercials, TV shows, whatever. They be like, yo, you living it up in LA. I was like, I don't need you to really think that, because that's not the case at all. Like, you're trying to make it happen.
Yeah. Yeah, you gotta work. You gotta work at it. And those, say you do a commercial and it pops on and it's on all the time. I mean, you shot that for like between 1 to 3 days, You gotta. That's not a payday every day. That's once every few months pay.
Yeah, people don't understand this beautiful thing called residuals and how they come in. So I have to ask, what's it like after you do it, right? Like you said, you did the series initially, you do the Dino Thunder series. You're like, cool. You're like, okay, it's gonna change my life, whatever. Then you start getting callbacks to come back to other series like later on, and you're like, wait, what? How is that feeling when you just like get this call or email like, hey, they want you back?
That's actually a funny story. At least I can let me talk about what was the one I just did, the 25th anniversary?
Yeah, then the Super Ninja Steel one.
Yeah. So so Kevin Duhaney, the Blue Ranger, emailed me. He messaged me, texted me, and was like, "Did you get a message from Power Rangers? They're thinking of having me back." And I was like, I didn't get anything. Now he's been with the same agent for a long time. I went through a few different agents depending on the city I was in.
Okay.
So I called my agent because Kevin was like, "You should get your agent to message them." And so my agent messaged them, and they were like they couldn't find me, and so they booked me on that. But Kevin never got to go back. I felt so bad because he's the one that told me about it, Yeah. So thank you, Kevin. Thank you.
I mean, it's like that's a good friendship. Like, hey, bro, look, I appreciate it, but I'm sorry. So yeah, getting those callbacks, man.
Yeah, I loved it because I was dying to get back to Auckland, New Zealand. I love it there. It's like my second home. I just love the flow of things in that place. So it was just, I was fortunate, I was fortunate to be a part of it.
And that's a great thing to hear, man. When it again outside of Power Rangers, you've done so much. If I looked at your IMDb and I was like, this brother has been working, you know what I'm saying? Shows that were known, people, 12 Monkeys when it was a thing, Suits, all these little different things you've done. What would you say outside of Power Rangers is something that you can hold tight to yourself that you're super proud of outside of Power Rangers?
Outside of Power Rangers, it's this Canadian independent movie I did called Late Fragment. That was my first. Then that was like 4 years, I think, after Power Rangers. I think it was in 07 we shot that. But it took me through all the major film festivals. I was carrying a portion of the movie where I had like Tatiana Maslany in a support role, and
wow.
It was the first time and one of the only times I really got to prepare as the actor that I wanted to prepare as. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because it's different from being the Power Ranger, knowing what this is, and to being a serious role where you're carrying the weight. You have to make the theme of the film go a certain way.
Yeah, like everything I was taught in acting workshops, I got to actually really put it to use. Everything that you read in the acting books, I got to actually put that to use. Like I moved out and I got like a really, it was a decrepit apartment, and I rented it short term. Got rid of. There wasn't really no social back then, but I didn't talk to my girlfriend. I didn't talk to my friends. My character was really closed off, isolated, alone. So I wanted to really put myself in that frame of mind, so that when I went in the shoot, I could just do it, be there, and not really feel like I'm acting it out. It was the first time I got to prepare like that, and it's so exciting to do that kind of thing. So Late Fragment would definitely be the top right now. Still haven't been able to beat that.
You hear about a lot of actors when they get these major roles and they have to get in the mindset, and you hear about the steps they've gone through. To hear that you took these steps to understand that character in depth, not just on a surface level, because you can see the character, you can read the breakdown, you can read through the script, you can get some of the feel for it. But to sit there and say, I have to put myself in this complete headspace where I have to live this to understand this and do this justice, that speaks volumes to you as an actor and your dedication to the craft.
I appreciate that. Yeah, I don't know if it was. There's got to be easier ways, I just didn't. I didn't know how else to do it without completely failing, and I'm sure I failed to a certain extent because you're an actor, so you get it. Like you do a job, and once you finish the job, you're better prepared to do that same job again.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Like, day forward, you just become a better actor. So like once you stop shooting it, almost a year goes by, and then you see it at a film festival, you're almost like, I get embarrassed about watching myself. I can't, because it's like, how are people buying this right now?
I
I wish I
understand
had a
that feeling.
chance.
I understand that feeling completely. I'm in a couple films. I'm like, how is anybody gonna want to watch this?
Yeah, I mean, I cringe when I see myself, which was also great about going back to do the 25th anniversary. I got to like, oh, I get to go back as a better actor and more experienced and less immature, more mature, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
And I got like, we got so little camera time, but it was great to be there.
Just to go in, they show you, then you did you put on the suit, or did they have a stunt double put on the suit from when you did the 25th, or how was that?
I never put the suit on. That's the truth. Sorry, everyone.
At all? Or 20 even
I've never put that. I put that suit on once, and it was for the publicity shots and for my entrance where I spin.
Yeah.
For that, that's the only time I got to wear the suit. Yeah. Well,
now,
you know, my character never showed his face, right? It was always
right. This is true. Yeah.
He was. So, like, the rest of the team got to have those shots. I remember Kevin, when we were trying on our suits, he was just standing in the mirror like this. And I was walking by the hall, and I saw him, and I turned back, and he was just, it's like, I dreamed of this moment. It was the best thing ever. He loved wearing the suit. I got to wear it. I have my suit, though, which I'm lucky to have. But, yeah.
See, that's a good thing. At least you have it. Like, it'd be a different story if you're like, man, I wore it one time. I don't get to have it. It's just sitting in somebody's closet somewhere. Like, so you have that. So I have to ask this question. It would make no sense if I didn't ask this question. Have there been moments you just like, you know what? Ain't nobody around. Let me go and put this thing on real quick. Take a selfie of yourself real quick in the mirror. Like, all right, then take it back off and throw it back in the closet or wherever you have it.
Never. I've never done that. Never done that. My girlfriend has put it on once because she was like, I got to try this thing on. I've never done it. I just keep it, like, I look at it once in a while, and I just feel proud. I'm like, yeah, I was a part of that. But it's in a closet. It's in a dark closet. It's not even shown.
See, somebody got to go through clothes like, is this what I think that is? Like, I don't know what you're talking about. Like, one of those things.
Eventually, I want to get a mannequin and have the suit fit over the mannequin and just have it just as a, like, I don't know, as a piece of art, as a piece of film history. But
can you imagine just? I can't imagine just walking into somebody's home, right? Like, you hear like, "Yo, you gonna meet my homie Jeff? Like, he's done a lot of things." You're like, "All right, cool." Because I'm one of those people that when I meet people, I don't, I've been blessed and fortunate enough in the business. So when I hear about people doing something, I'm like, "All right, they're just a person. They work. They got a dope job." Can't imagine walking into somebody's house and you see plants and a few things on the wall, and in the corner, it's like, is that a Power Ranger suit, like on a mannequin? And then they hear the story. Well, so listen, back in the day, I did this thing.
Yeah. It's crazy. And, when we have people over here, it actually happens all the time because, like, I don't know, I have this beautiful helmet.
Yes.
And I just keep it on display because I really like it, And once people see it, they always get stopped in their track, and they're like, "Were you on that show?" And I'm like, yeah. Because a lot of actors, the acting community, they don't necessarily know I was on Power Rangers unless we're connected on social media these days. But back in the day, we didn't really talk about this stuff. It was just work.
Yeah.
You're gone for a year, come back, you do theater, you hustle, you starve, you book another gig, and you just keep moving.
So before, you just brought something great up with theater. Did you do theater a lot before getting Power Rangers, and have you gone back to it subsequently?
Oh, I did a lot of theater before Power Rangers. I had a little fly in front of me.
No worries.
And I thought about, I've wanted to get back into theater.
Mm-hmm.
But I got to be honest with you, I have a fear of going back to do theater now. I took a workshop a few years ago where we had to we were workshopping scenes from plays and like portions of plays, and I love doing that. But then they were like, we want to show this to people, so we invited people to come and watch. And I remember getting so upset about that because I felt like it was like you're exposing something that I didn't want people to see. Like, this was just for me to feel. And I felt so terrible after being forced to perform in front of people when I wasn't planning on doing that it put the fear in me of doing theater again.
Really?
I love the intimacy. There could be 100 people on set, but it's just you and the camera, you know?
Right.
And that's my space. But like doing theater now, and Toronto's it's a tough city for theater, man. They all the theater folks talk to each other and stuff like that, and they see the outsider coming in here who did Power Rangers. He thinks he's a theater actor. Ugh.
Not knowing the backstory, like, yo, I've done this before, like this is where I've come from. Because you hear of actors trying different things. So theater, when you brought up theater, it was very interesting because it was making me wonder, has he gone back to it? And now to know, you're like, nah, I don't need that.
When I want to get that fixed, I take these classes with that a friend does, and we just put up portions of plays, and I just get to do it within a class. I get to work on my craft and get that theater fix out just to be able to say the words. And then I feel great after. It's the weird thing with me. I don't need anyone to see my work, and I feel like I've done a good job with certain things just because I wanted to do it. It's not necessarily that I cared about anyone else seeing it.
That's crazy to hear because, again, people have seen your work, again, knowing you as a legendary, because you're considered a legendary actor. I posted on my Twitter, I was like, I just posted a picture of you in the suit. I was like, yo, about to talk to this legend. And a lot of people were like, what? I started getting DMs. They're like, what are you talking to him about? I was like, man, we finna talk about recipes and everything you cook in the pandemic. Like, I'm just telling them dumb stuff. But again, so people see that work. People saw more of you. Like you said, you didn't have the suit on. So the character with the suit is one thing, but as Trent Mercer, you had to portray a certain character. When you've done these other roles, you've had to be yourself. And so I get it with the being in front of people itself, and then the intimacy of the camera. But I just like to see, if you will, like, yo, just say he just did a play and just say, hey, let me break that stage fright per se, and just the not wanting to see yourself, because that's what it sounds like. There's a level of it to it if I'm getting it right.
Yeah, there is. Yeah, the stage fright. That's the truth. It's the words I never wanted to say, but you said it, so thank you.
No worries, man. And that's what I'm here for, man. That's what I'm here for. If you've done this thing with Power Rangers, you've acted, you've done the workshops, you've done theater. Is there anything that you in your career or outside of your career have really wanted to do that you haven't had a chance to yet?
Oh, there's a lot I haven't done that I've wanted to do. I one personal project, and I don't know what you could say this would be, what kind of project, maybe like a documentary, but I wanted to ride a motorcycle across the country and document and film my journey and the things I go through. I've been wanting to do that for a few years now. I just don't know how I would be able to get that done without a team around me, as opposed to it just being like a vlog. But like, I want to take that great American road trip on a motorcycle, guy from Canada, and get into lots of different things, exploring.
I mean, I think you definitely could. And I'm thinking about going on a motorcycle, the best way to go across country without freezing to death. Because I drove initially from Chicago to Los Angeles, and I took the route that took you through Iowa, Nebraska, Colorado, Arizona, Nevada, then California. So it was relatively warm.
I did the same route as you, I remember, but I drove there.
That's what I'm saying. I drove. That was the thing. Yeah, I drove that. And I remember, I'll never forget driving, because I drove with one of my best friends. And I remember driving through Nebraska. And I remember saying, okay, the only thing this state has going for it is Omaha, and we can throw that in Iowa. Like, we can just get that to Iowa. Like, it's just so open cornfield. So again, I think I say all that to say you can do that. I think you do it as a vlog, because if you've noticed a lot of documentaries, yeah, they do have the massive team and the whole production behind them. But I think that's what makes it more intimate. If it's a vlog type sorts where you're documenting it with a GoPro or whatnot, and you just keep editing day by day, I think you can do that. So I'm gonna give you the inspiration, if I can, to go ahead and do that, make that happen.
Because I've wanted to do that. It's such a challenge. It puts the fear in me thinking about having to ride that far and that distance. But man, the things you can find out about yourself, and it would feel
the
like
resiliency, the resiliency you'd find in yourself to having to do that.
Yeah. So basically, I want to shoot something where people see me go through a lot of pain to get from one place to another, so that people can just, see me fail at a bunch of different things, all in one long 4-day drive. Crazy.
I think on a motorcycle, would it be 4 days? It probably would, or it'd probably be a little bit, just a tad bit less.
Maybe longer. I don't know. Like I could drive straight. I've done the LA drive, and the only place I slept was in Colorado because there was a snowstorm when I was driving through. I did that straight, and it was like just under 3 days from Toronto.
Okay, yeah, coming from Toronto because you got to go through Michigan, come down, and then you got to come that way. That's not a
right.
Okay,
but on a motorcycle, you want to ride for like what 4 to 7 hours a day. You got to shut it down. Or
before you get sore, you'll get sore. Your body won't be able to handle. You can't be just leaned over on a motorcycle. That's
it's too much. It's too intense. Your focus is so. It's hard to describe. You haven't been.
So you were talking about how with doing the documentary, you want people to be able to see you afraid of in a sort, and people see you as one type of actor, as with Power Rangers. What would you say is the other way you want people to see you as an actor? Do you want them to see you as a comedic, a dramatic, serious?
I'm open. Like it doesn't. I love dramatic work. I love serious work, depressing work. I'm drawn to. But I don't mind I don't mind being seen as any of those things because they're all challenges. And if I could accomplish a little bit of any of those things, I would be proud.
What would you say would be your biggest challenge?
My biggest challenge would be comedy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's that timing, that specific timing, There's comedy that's like you're meant to play it really straight. Right. And in playing it straight, it's funny for the audience because of the way it's written. Mm-hmm. I can do that, but like to be funny, like to have the timing, the instincts of a comedian for a specific project, that's hard. That's just not everyone has that. That's special. Let me try my headphones again.
No worries. We'll see if they
get this rolling
connect
properly. This is real, everyone.
Oh, this is real. This is staying like this is what it is. But it is what it is. But it's interesting you say that because as a stand-up, I've been a comedian for 11 years. So being on stage and taking random stories and not sometimes delivering them as funny, but finding the punchlines and the humor in it. And then to do acting roles where, like you said, you have to play straight-laced, but deliver those punchlines. It's something that as a comedian, I've noticed we're able to do and then make that transition to dramatic, where you have dramatic actors who somewhat struggle trying to go comedic.
Yeah. Comedians can do serious stuff easily. Dramatic actors trying to do comedy, it's very difficult. People do it, but it's difficult.
So if you got the opportunity to do a comedic film, which comedic actor or comedian would you like to work with?
That's a tough question. You got me stuck.
Good.
Okay. I'm gonna say Ryan Reynolds.
Dude, that's a good one.
Now that's a good answer, right? Like
that's a definitely good answer.
Actor, but he's a serious actor. He's not just comedy,
Yeah, he's
so
done
like
so many roles.
Yeah, cool movie that would be great.
Okay, so now you bring up the superhero genre again. You're a hero already as a Power Ranger, but if you had the opportunity to go into any of these superhero franchises that are out now, and there's so many, what would you want? What would you like to do?
The one I would like to do is not out yet. And there was a version of it sometime in the past, and it wasn't really good, but I would love to be in a Ghost Rider.
Man, listen, we don't ever mention Ghost Rider Spirit of Vengeance because that movie was just abysmal. Like Ghost Rider in itself was kind of weird, especially the Nicolas Cage screaming in the police cell when he was I was like, that was weird. I got it. But the second one is just like, that didn't happen. And so they did redo the series for a while where they had Gabriel Luna. He was playing the Robbie Reyes version. They were doing that on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. And they were supposed to bring a series subsequently, and then Marvel Studios was like, nah, we're not doing this. Yeah. So you'd like to do Ghost Rider. Would you like to be Ghost Rider?
Especially if Keanu Reeves was the lead. Because there's like these rumors, right, that they were in talks with him.
Man, Ghost Rider. It's so funny because the rumors kept coming up about Keanu Reeves. Is he Moon Knight? Then they cast Oscar Isaac. Everybody's like, nope. And then it was, he's Namor. And now there's a rumor that they might have the actor for Namor. And they're like, well, nope. So now Ghost Rider as Keanu, I'm trying to see how that would play out because I have to turn my brain out of John Wick as Ghost Rider.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know. I enjoy Keanu, so I would buy it because he's a motorcycle guy. So if anyone's gonna get it, he'll get it.
Oh yeah, for sure, for sure. He would definitely. I mean, definitely his work, his body of work speaks for itself. You know, I mean, this was supposed to be
broad.
This was supposed to be had COVID not happened and all the changes in film scheduling and whatnot and releases, he was supposed to have Matrix 4 and John Wick 4 drop this year. Yeah. So this is supposed to be his year. So you as Ghost Rider, I can see you definitely in one of the projects. Again, outside of, because again, with Power Rangers, there are the younger fans who will say, you're always going to be a Power Ranger to me. Like, and that's great. That'll keep, again, part of the legacy, part of history. But as an actor, like, okay, if I got a chance to go into this bigger superhero role, you know, where would I want to go? And those are now like coveted spots to get in acting, which it seems like. Because you got Emilia Clarke, Olivia Colman, Christopher McDonald, all these A-list superstars in Marvel's Secret Invasion. And you're like, wait, what? Like, you would never thought you would hear these A-list stars making sure they go this route. And I, you know, again, with your body of work you've done, with what we know you as from Power Rangers, with the different appearances in TV shows that people have seen wide, you can definitely fit in. And I see that. Now, I'm going to close this and ask you a question that I want to see where this answer comes. All of the teams, you've been a part of Dino Thunder, you've appeared in several other ones. If you could have been a part of one team outside of your team, which team would have been?
Can I pick two?
I'll give you two.
You'll give me two? It would have been great to do Ninja Storm.
Yo, I'd like to see that.
That cast, I enjoyed my time with that cast, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And RPM. I've never watched RPM. I like the idea of it, and again, I have had nothing but great moments with some of the actors that did that show.
And RPM, is that because you're a motorcycle guy? You know, the different rooms, you know, the different cars and cycles and all the different, you know, vehicles they had in that one?
That's actually hilarious because they both, like, Ninja Storm, they were motocross riding.
They had the motorcycle, they had the motorbikes, yep.
Yeah, and then in RPM, it's all about the cars and stuff. Maybe that's like, you know. Yeah, but I would have liked to be part of either of those. I really liked some of the cast. I've had really great moments from Ninja Storm and RPM, and so I could only imagine being able to do the whole series with them would have been just amazing.
Man, that's amazing to hear. Before I let you go and get up out of here and go about the day that unfortunately I didn't know you guys were still. I didn't know you. I thought you might have been out here in California. I didn't know you were in Canada, locked down. Try to keep yourself mentally safe first and foremost. To the fans that want to reach you, that want to show you some love, watching on Power Morphicon, that want to say, oh my God, I love the White Dino Ranger, and all those other good things, or find out about more projects about you outside of Power Rangers. How can they get in touch with you, social media-wise, find out about you?
Okay, this is funny because I have a weird relationship with social media. I canceled all of them except for my Instagram. So I'll usually post things that I book on Instagram or any things that I'm up to or messing around with. And that's Jeff Parazzo on Instagram. But that's the only social media I have. I got rid of Twitter, Facebook. I never really had Snapchat.
As somebody who wants to get rid of his, who unfortunately, because I've booked work through him, I can't. I feel you. I totally feel.
Every year, at least twice a week, I'm like, I'm gonna delete my Instagram.
Do you understand?
Like, really, you can. I'm like, you just become a mystery again. It's like, you know, back in the 80s when.
Yeah.
You know.
Do you understand how much of an enigma you are?
You only see my project.
Do you know how much of an enigma you are? They'll be like, I don't want this. And especially being in the entertainment industry. Again, there are some people when they hit this level, of course, they're like, I'll just whatever. But like being like, I don't need this. And that speaks volumes to your character in a great way. Because there's this, we use social media as this need for gratification and validation, if you will. And so to be like, no, I know who I am. I'm good at what I do. I don't need that. And y'all don't need to be that much. And I'll talk to y'all. I'll see you when I see you, man. So I'm glad to hear that.
I have a weird thing about posting like everything, you know? It's just, it's strange. I'm not against anyone who does it, but I feel weird, you know? I don't know. It's hard to explain, but if you get it, you get it, you know?
And there are many people out there who do.
It's not as important as people make it out to be.
I'm glad you said that, man. I think that's the perfect thing to leave on. Jeff Parazzo, thank you so much for the time. Don't go nowhere after I wrap this. Thank you so much for the time. I hope you guys enjoyed the rest of Power Morphicon. I've been your resident supervillain, Mr. J. Washington. Find me on Twitter and Instagram. Yes, I'm on social media. Just it's a habit of saying that when I close things out. Talk to you later. Enjoy the rest of the con. I'm out. Bye.